Okay, so of course, Meghan had to get her Diana moment. She had to go to a hospital to visit patients. Well, I bet you that she wished she never had, because surprise, they show her an amputee. And as you know, her father had a surgery recently at the end of 2025, and she did not go to visit him when he had his amputation. So watch her face. Hello everyone, and welcome back to installment number 9,325,027 trillion of the Fall Royal Tour by Meghan and Harry. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, they are now in the Middle East, in Jordan. And that should be so surprising, especially since William, just this month, was in the region. He was in Saudi Arabia. But we know that Meghan and Harry have to pee cluck cluck behind everything the Waleses do. And that's for two reasons. One is that it takes the attention off of the royal family and onto them, the rogue betrayers of the royal family. And two, it is to somehow trick the population of the world into believing that they are still working royals. I do think there are people out there who are confused and think that when Meghan and Harry do these royal tours, that they are doing it on behalf of the royal family. Just a disclaimer, this is not sanctioned. This tour that Meghan and Harry are on is not sanctioned by the royal palace. But in Meghan's erroneous maths of her head, she thinks that if even 5 people still think that she is a royal, using her duchess titles and all that she does, that's enough for her. You might wonder, what are they doing in Jordan? What business do they have there? Well, Meghan, looking as weathered as a pair of old leather shoes, she's there to talk out of her mouth in front of the United Nations, the WHO in particular, that arm of the United Nations, which is the World Health Organization. I do know people who have worked for the WHO. Some of them are politically appointed, some of them have been voted to do so. But one thing they all have in common is that they are highly educated, vetted, and accredited. Like, they have qualifications. And Meghan always wants to have a seat at the table. She always is talking about telling her truth and letting her voice be heard. But she never talks about what she brings to the table. What are Meghan's qualifications to be at a UN summit? Well, we don't even know about her education ones. Nothing has been verified exactly how much education she ever even had. There's so much smoke and mirrors around that. But we know that she is a failed cable TV actress. And we know that she was allegedly a yacht girl or rubbing shoulders with questionable people in the industry of that sort. I know what she was. She was actually voted the most unlikable person of 2025. So that is one accreditation that she has. What does she want to tell these learned people in these conferences? What can she possibly tell them? She even had her own charity, which some believe should be under investigation. And we're going to talk about all of that in a minute. But she even had her own charity to do with what she could, and she's done absolutely nothing. So I don't see what she brings to the table. So since we can decide that she brings nothing to the table, perhaps she's taking away something. She must be getting something out of it. So let's listen to her little speech that she made.
So again, thank you so much for all of your efforts. I look forward to continuing the conversation, especially with Dr. Tedros, about how when funding does come in, it feels ring-fenced, to be able to liberate that.
Despite the fiscal space, this fiscal burden.
It was so hard for me right now to not stop it every second, but I wanted you to hear it in all of its word salad glory. So she is there to talk about fiscal policy and funding, girl. I don't know if I'm comfortable with a known liar and fraud who some people believe, and not necessarily me, but some people believe, her own charity, her own funding should be under investigation. I don't know if I'm comfortable in these nowadays times, as we say in Barbados, for her to be sitting in front of a body like this, a global geopolitical body like this, talking about sensitive information. We have just had 2 men, Mendelssohn and Andrew, okay, under investigation, arrested because of being places where they should not have been, because they were not trustworthy to be in those places, and trading and leaking information that they should not have done in order to enrich themselves and those around them. And yet, in the midst of this, we are to accept Meghan, the most liared fraud we have seen consistently in the last few years. I mean, we're finding out about a lot of things now of other people. But in the last few years, we have watched her in 4K lie over and over and over again. And I must sit down here and not be paranoid when I see her sitting down talking about money and funding in the UN. And that brings me back to my point. What is she taking away? These are questions we have. What is she taking away from this meeting? What is her next grift? Because we know everything else has failed, girl. We can't even go through the list. We've gone through lists and lists and lists and lists. We've gone through lists on this channel. We've done lists. We've been listing on this channel when it comes to Meghan. So we know she's failed in all areas. So I don't know if I'm comfortable with her.
So again, thank you so much for all of your efforts.
Thanking the WHO for their efforts. Like she is president of the whole gosh darn world, girl. She's like, I'm here to thank you all, plebs, for your efforts. Not your accomplishments, not your achievements, your efforts. Well done. Seal clap. The absolute unmitigated gall of this woman.
I look forward to continuing the conversation, especially with Dr. Tedros.
She is looking forward to continuing the conversation with a doctor. I'm sorry, Meghan, but who made you the expert on talking to any of these people? Who made you an expert on anything? She wants to continue this conversation with Dr. Tedros. About what?
How when funding does come in, it feels ring-fenced to be
How in funding does come in, although ring-fenced. Girl, what is that?
able to liberate that.
And she wants to liberate the funding from the fencing that it's in. Liberate the funding to her secret accounts in Delaware. So she's talking about finance, right? When did she become... Do you know what? You know who else was another fake financial advisor? This man. Unqualified financial advisor number 2. Meghan is always late to the party. Sorry, Meghan, but we've already seen... We already saw the outcome of the fake financier. We already saw how that goes. You can't come and try to pull the same stunt. I understand it must be very frustrating when you were doing royal tours in Nigeria and getting, fake princess titles, and when you went to Colombia and you got trinkets or whatever as gifts. And now you're like, oh my goodness, you mean to tell me? Like, she's thinking that they could have been going around the world trading financial secrets this whole time? Oh, well, let's do it now. Too late. Sorry, we already know how this story ends. Every single one of them who is in this meeting attending this really wishes they had called in sick today. They're like, who is this woman again? These people are like, I put on a suit and tie to come and sit down and listen to this word salad. By the way, the Middle East is at war. Can we talk about that? I mean, they must be like, what are we doing here listening to this crazy illiterate woman? Harry appears to be looking at some kind of menu, or it could even be the itinerary for the day. He probably has no idea what he's doing there, as usual. These countries have got to stop hosting them. These countries have to put their foot down. They can say, look, you have a passport, you can buy tickets for travel, you can book yourself into hotels, enjoy the wadi, the desert, the souk, the whatever. Enjoy it all. But we are not going to be hosting you in an official capacity because that's very dangerous for us. Not only can she come to these countries for holidays, she can also go and give a check from Archwell. It's a charity, right? Foundation. She can go to these camps. I think this is a refugee camp that's a music school as well. She can go there and give them a check. Oh, actually, I'm not sure if she's able to write a check from Archwell, because remember in 2024 there was a delinquency issue and that Archwell was banned from raising or spending money. So there's that. Let's look at this video.
Then, for example, versus the keyboard, how do you know which one is the right fit?
Do you see how irritated she looks when she's talking to these people just because a translation is necessary? I don't know why she just didn't pretend to speak Arabic. Why she pretend to speak Spanish and French. Or she just pretend to speak Arabic and then she would have been fine. Another thing I'd like you to know about this footage and these photos is that there was suddenly a photo dump into her little outlets of everything she was doing. Like within an hour, just all of this was dumped one time. We had no idea that this was where they were or what they were doing. Of course not, because they're not in an official capacity. So there was no official announcement. Okay, so of course, Meghan had to get her Diana moment. She had to go to a hospital to visit patients. Well, I bet you that she wished she never had, because surprise, they show her an amputee. And as you know, her father had a surgery recently at the end of 2025, and she did not go to visit him when he had his amputation. So watch her face. Harry is in this crouch down position where I guess I don't know, that's his style, right? Whenever he goes to hospital bed, he has to like crouch down next to it. And then she's standing up. Like, the way she's looking at the patient, I would not want somebody to look at me like this. Oh, poor you. It's that kind of face. If I was a patient in a hospital bed with an amputation, I would want somebody to be like, you're really strong. I admire you. You're positive vibes. You're doing really well. Stay strong. You're doing amazing. I want somebody's face open like that when they're talking to me. Okay, this is just me. I don't want, no dear. But look at how she's twisted her face looking at this person. It's horrible.
However, she had severe developing injuries to her legs.
Does she mind showing us?
She said yes.
Harry says, does she mind showing us? And the doctor said, she said yes. She will show.
She said yes.
And boom!
So her plan was to amputate her right.
The doctor's face is in the way right as she shows the leg. I don't know if I can show this on YouTube. I'm not going to risk it. It's really the foot part that's amputated, or all the toes as is depicted in this drawing, just for you all to know, because I'm not going to show it. But just as she shows the injury, the doctor's face is in Meghan's way. That's so unfortunate. But we do get to see her face right after.
Her right leg.
And it looks like this. Like she just sucked in all the air she possibly could. What is she doing there? And she immediately takes her eyes off of the leg and looks at the doctor at that point. She's just staring hyper-focused into the doctor's face. And for the duration of the visit, she cannot look back at the girl or her leg. How would you feel if you were this little girl? These countries have to stop doing this. Yeah, so she has to now stand up there and listen to a doctor talk way above her pay grade. She has no idea what this doctor is talking about, but she has to stand up there. Again, the hands are like this. It's just a very crazy looking way of holding her hands the whole time. I think that way of holding the hands is a stress clutch on Meghan's part, because she must be so upset. She could have gone and seen her father, and then this talk would have been all about her experience with an amputee. But unfortunately, she didn't go and see him. What a missed opportunity. And yeah, so that's all the footage we have so far. I don't know if you saw me put up the posts about the football where she looks crazy. She looks like she is the most unathletic person in the entire world. She's a ball hog, I said, because you never see children playing with the ball. It's just her alone. Whereas in the past, we've seen Catherine actually playing with the children where they get to kick the ball too, not just Catherine, you know. Here it looks like Meghan is breaking the news to Harry that she prefers this ball head to his ball head. And then here it looks like an argument has ensued over these comments and somebody has had to remove the ball because Harry's clearly jealous of it. But here we have her receiving gifts, which is her favorite thing to do. So she's getting some paintings and, you know, she has to hold on to her things. You know, she always has to hold on to things that are given to her because it makes her feel like royal family. Like, because royal family's always given little things to hold and trinkets and gifts and everything. So she always is holding on to stuff like, look at me, I got gifts. She loves gifts. She's a hoarder. Prince William and Catherine have strong personal and diplomatic ties to the Middle East, particularly Jordan, where Kate, they call her Kate in this, I don't know, Catherine, lived as a child, and the family vacationed in 2021. William recently visited Saudi Arabia in February 2026 to strengthen bilateral relations. They have also expressed deep concern regarding the regional conflict. So in case you're wondering what William was doing there this month. The key connections and visits. Now, Jordan connection. Catherine lived in Amman for nearly 3 years as a child from 1984 to 1986. The couple took a private family holiday there in 2021 and attended the royal wedding of Crown Princess Hussein and Princess Rajwa in 2023. I am hoping that Queen Noor does not entertain Meghan Markle. As you know, Queen Noor is pretty much the Princess Diana of the Middle East. She is the Queen of Jordan, and she is an American woman who married into the Jordanian royal family. I don't know if Meghan's gonna go and try and sign up to her. I really hope that she doesn't. Please put down in the comments if that's what you think she's going to try to do. We will watch it this week. I think we're gonna do a few lives this week, actually. We're gonna have to talk together, okay? We're gonna have to talk together about what are her intentions, what is going on here. So yeah, hopefully Queen Noor will not take her on. I think if Queen Noor has noticed in the last few years that Meghan has the anti-Midas touch, and you know how they love their gold over there. Ba-dum-bum-ching. Forgive me. Forgive me. But if Queen Noor does not want Meghan to markle her, like Meghan does with everyone she crosses paths with, then Queen Noor will try to avoid Meghan as much as possible. So let's see if Meghan gets her photo ops with Queen Noor this week. I really hope not. Anyway, thank you all so much for watching me. Get down in the comments and I'll see you this week in a live. I'll announce it in advance, hopefully. I don't know. Maybe I'll just pop up. Just subscribe, press bell notifications so that you see when I am coming up with a live. It's going to be, we got to talk together. I need your help. Love you all so much. You know that. Bye.